Hello, everybody, and welcome to Collector's Corner. This is our third episode for the season. I love these. I love when we get to do these. I had so much fun with Russ. I had so much fun with Jordy on our last one. And
Yes.
now, when we came up with, I should say when Kat came up with this, because I think this was her idea also, to make this as its own mini-sode, which is a brilliant idea.
It was selfish of me. I just wanted to see more people's collections. It was, yeah, my interest was that it needed to be more than just a segment. I wanted more.
And I fully, obviously, we all agree with you because we got so much feedback from people about this, including
people love it.
Including from Carl, how much he enjoyed the episode. And I said this before, whenever we would have collectors on, there are two people that always come to mind. It's always Russ and Carl, and not necessarily in that order. They are the same in my brain. So I knew we were going to have Carl on. So with that in mind,
Jordy sees it all the time.
That's true.
I see that collection every episode.
That's true.
But we had to have Carl DeCourt on. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's such a pleasure to be here and talking Nick with you all as always. Every time I come on, it's just a blast. And my wife is sitting directly under me. She's in the living room. I'm upstairs in my workshop, and she tells me after every one of these episodes how fun it is to listen to me laugh. And that's her experience until the episode comes out. So
I'm glad you said that she's downstairs. Because at first I thought, is she like under the orange couch right now?
I played that out in my head. Make sure I choose my words wisely.
I was thinking in the couch like Danny DeVito. Cuts out of the couch.
She's directly under me.
Or
hey, how are you?
Or like
we
Eric.
can come back later if we're interrupting something.
or like Eric on Boy Meets World when he was hiding in the couch.
Yes.
Oh yes.
All right, well, since we're going to be talking Carl's collection, first we always got to start with this one for our official first time episodes with our guests. What got you into collecting, and how long have you been collecting?
So I've always been a collector. Like even when I was a kid, I remember going to Chuck E. Cheese and saving some of the tokens. Like not using the tokens because I wanted to collect them. So I always remember just collecting things, being a collector. And so as soon as I loved Nickelodeon growing up, but as everybody did, you kind of you reach that age where you're no longer the target demographic, so you fall off the wayside. And then you start to hit your mid-20s and you're like, life is smacking me in the face. It was kind of fun being a kid. So like I kind of resurrected that love of Nickelodeon probably in my mid-20s or so. And back then, Russ talked about this. There wasn't a market for Nickelodeon collectibles, really. You were hard pressed to find something at the thrift store even. So I'd go to Best Buy and I'd buy the DVD sets. I remember finding Hey Dude season 1 at Best Buy and just being like thrilled that I could watch this thing again that I loved growing up. And then you kind of keep an eye on eBay, and I've been collecting. Like I bought my first official like piece that I would call like hey, I'm going to start collecting, right? And so my first piece was Rocko's Modern Life slide from the cartoon, one of my favorite episodes, and that was right after my wife and I were married about 11 years ago. So that was my first like official collecting, because I love Nick and I want to buy the things that I remembered as a kid.
Oh,
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you have an official animation cell from the episode. Which episode is it?
Yeah, I the name of the episode escapes me, but it's the episode where Spunky has to get a bath. And so the cell,
it's a very dangerous day.
Yeah.
That's a Squirmy and Ringworm episode.
Yes. Yep. And so the cell I have is from the scene where he's forcing Spunky into the bathtub, and
Nice.
It's always cool to have. The original cells are some like the most treasured things. That's one thing I'm missing. But if I could get one, I mean,
and back then, I mean, you could buy them for 30-50 bucks on eBay, and now they're like $400. You know, it's insane.
I see them on Cricket Gallery sometimes, but yeah, they go up high.
Yeah.
You know what I love about those animation cells? You get to see how vibrant the colors actually were before they hit the TV.
Oh man, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lost art, and I think cartoons suffer for it these days. But hey, what are you gonna do, right?
All right, well, before we really get too much into the collection, because we gotta ask, where did you find the orange couch?
I have been looking for an orange couch forever, and it's not the original orange couch. That's you know, I hope to someday own that. But I was on Facebook Marketplace, and this was like back in July, and I sent the seller a message, and they never replied to me. It was just like dead space. And then a week before my birthday, back in December, the seller wrote back and said, "Hey, I had this sale lined out. It fell through. Do you still want it?" It's like, heck yeah. So took a truck up to St. Louis and brought it home.
Is it made out of the same material that the original orange couch was made out of? Because you knew what that was made out of.
Yeah. That was like a vinyl. This is leather, but it feels the same.
Yep. Awesome.
That's
all right.
Cool.
Well, take it away with whatever you'd like to showcase and tell us a little bit about it.
Awesome. Well, I read today, and I don't even know if this is true or not, but I read today that on today's date, 35 years ago, Finders Keepers aired its last episode. I'm assuming this is true. You know, it's on Facebook, so it's got to be true.
It's got to be true.
Of course. Leave the internet. It's true.
Right. So I grabbed a Finders Keepers shirt. This is a contestant shirt from the show. I picked this up. I picked this up and a bunch of other production items from one of the stagehands. We have a visitor.
I saw Kat trying to keep it together.
It's like Finders Keepers. Oh yeah,
trying and failing to keep it together. This is Phoebe. She likes to crash Zoom calls,
and she's a Finders Keepers fan.
Apparently.
So I found I made contact with this guy. He was a stagehand on Double Dare and Finders Keepers. They both shot in the same studio in Philadelphia. And I don't think he moved with production when they moved to Orlando. But yeah, I picked this up and a bunch of other wardrobe and backstage clothing and things like that from him. So this was kind of like the bonus. I was buying some Double Dare stuff from him, but this was the bonus piece. So
oh wow,
that's so neat.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I
love that.
Yeah, it's so 35 years ago today. I don't know. Do you guys remember watching Finders Keepers?
I honestly didn't.
That's before. Yeah, that's before my memory.
I was
gelling.
I was out of Nickelodeon before Nick Gas became a thing, and I had no memory of Finders Keepers at all until my buddy Joe, who has been on the podcast before, actually playing the Finders Keepers board game. Phoebe is determined she's going to be king of this mountain.
If it wasn't for like the cat butt, I would just let it ride and pretend like it doesn't exist. But she's like flashing everybody. What are you doing? Okay, I'll just leave her there, and I'll just like put my head
there you go.
Strategically.
But my buddy Joe told me about Finders Keepers, and then I decided let's have a 90s Nick board game night. It's like, I wonder if there's any board games, because at the time I had no idea. There's a ton, and that's why we now got Game On going over on our Patreon, and we found that Finders Keepers game. And then the more I learned about that, and I found that it was on Nick Gas, and I found several episodes on YouTube, and I think I've got most of the series on that I've burned to Blu-ray, but I didn't see it when I was a kid. But I definitely got into it more as an adult, and it's very much a very, very fun show. We actually got to talk with the one of the hosts. We had Wesley Ure in our second or third season. But
yeah,
very fun.
Yeah, that was a good episode. Cool. Yeah. So I've got this is a newer part of this is a newer acquisition. I just got these. So So I found these. I've been looking for a set of Noggle goggles for a long time.
Oh wow!
And because I'm pretty sure that my pair that came with my waffle crisp in 1997 is in a landfill somewhere. So I just found these on eBay. I picked these up, Noggle goggles.
Oh
And
wow!
Oh,
Wow, they're even in the
Wow.
card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the packaging.
Yeah, in the packaging. And this is so hard as a collector. Like, do I open this? I really want
Oh
to.
yes, yeah.
Yes.
But-
You want to use it, but you want to preserve it. And you're like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a fine line.
Yep. So hopefully, if anybody knows, anybody listening or watching knows what these are made of, or if there's a substitute today, let me know, because I've got also to go along with that, I have a VHS, an original recording from September 22nd and 24th, 1997, Noggle Vision. So, of
Oh
course,
my
Okay.
gosh.
you
I was
gotta
gonna
watch
ask.
the two together.
Nice.
I feel like you have to open at least one pair now to
I know, right?
because
Because this is
use one and then preserve one.
yeah, this is terrible to watch on its own. It hurts my eyes. I need the goggles.
Now I
Oh,
did.
man.
I'll have to send you some. Not these, unfortunately, because what I want to do, and for anyone who's listening, my goal is at some point to do a whole block of Noggle Goggle episodes, complete with the little bumpers in between, because I have them. I just haven't been able to find the time to put them together. And then I was wanting to send a pair of 3D glasses over to our patrons, and then we do that as a live stream one night.
That's
So
awesome.
I
That'd be
want
great.
to do that. And I got looking for these. These unfortunately don't do it, because this is those really stupid ones that just make everything rainbowy, and it's not.
Oh.
But I did find some. They're just, the rims are just black, but they do work the same way as the Noggle goggles, and I can't find them right now, but I do have.
I know you do have a pair of those.
Yeah, the crew knows, and I've pulled out for a few episodes, but I do have a pair of Noggle goggles, not in the original wrapping, but there are some that you can buy fairly cheap, like a pack of 100 for $10.
Oh wow,
and they work just as well. But-
awesome.
All right, Carl, what is next?
All right, so if you have the Noggle goggles, of course, then you have to have the VHS to watch them with.
Yes.
But Alex, you know, I've told you about this. I have this dream to put together this this roaming Nickelodeon museum that I could take to conventions and things. And so I saw this on eBay, and I thought this would make a really great display. So this is just an ad from, I don't know what magazine, but it was a Noggle Vision ad from 1997. So I thought that was
Oh
kind of
wow!
cool to,
Yeah, I've seen that image online 100 times, but there you go. You have the actual ad.
Yep. So if you're a 7-year-old that likes Golden Crisp, you're golden there. Oh man, I was a 7-year-old that likes Golden Crisp, by the way, so I can make that joke.
Oh
Golden
yeah, I
Crisp
love
is
it
great.
too. I always
boy.
forget how good it actually is, and it's like, wow, this is great.
I think the last time I had it was 1997. I'll have to
Really?
get a box.
Not even the cereal bars? You never had those?
I'm not a breakfast person, really. I just don't eat breakfast. So.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep. All right. So this next piece, I'm really excited about. It's not original. It was not screen used or anything, but it's about as close as you can get. So I'm wondering. I'll show you the piece, and then I'll give you the backstory. Okay.
Yep.
This is somebody you will instantly recognize.
Oh, Zeke the
Yeah,
Plumber.
that's so cool.
So
Wow.
like mask collectors is this whole like subset of collecting. There's guys out there that
Oh, yeah.
just have rooms filled with masks, and I've infiltrated their spaces for the past several years, trying to figure out what kind of mask they used on Salute Your Shorts, and nobody knew. There were some guesses that maybe it was a Don Post mask or like a West German clown mask that they modified, and nobody could guess what it was. And then I found a hat. I found the hat. Like I matched the hat to one that I found in a catalog from the 90s and found on eBay. and that led me to a guy who was going down the same path. So that's the guy at oh gosh, I'm gonna forget the name of it now. MMC Studios, I think that's the name of it. But he had been on this same hunt, and he found he would find like mask shops, Halloween stores, magic shops that were closing down and buy out their old inventory. And he found one of the not the screen used mask, but one of the masks that was used to make the screen used mask. And I'm sworn to secrecy. I can't tell you what it was, but as soon as if message me after this, and I'll tell you privately. You have to be sworn to secrecies too. But as soon as I tell you, as soon as I tell you what it is, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, how could I have not have gotten that? Because it's like as soon as I tell you, it's gonna hit your head. But so anyways, he molded his original mask and then made these recasts. And so yeah, it's the accurate hat. He found wigs and the mustache and everything. So this I had been looking for one of these for a long time, and unfortunately I think his original is probably the only one left in existence. So this is, I think, the closest I'm going to get. There's a story from production on Salute Your Shorts. Salute Your Shorts didn't end well. Steve Slavkin walked out like the last 2 weeks of production, and Nick was forcing them to move to Orlando, and nobody wanted to. So everything, I'm told, everything on production was thrown away. Like wardrobe, props, scripts. I mean, everything was just thrown away. So the original, I'm sure, is long gone, but at least I get to have this one in the collection.
Yeah.
So he'll haunt my nightmares tonight, I'm sure.
So cool.
So a couple other things from Salute Your Shorts. For the longest time, if you're into like the lost media thing, this item was on the top of everybody's list. It was the lost pilot for Salute Your Shorts.
Oh,
And I think it was it last year that the actor who played Michael posted it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so that was the first anybody had ever seen it, which was awesome. It was really fun to see that and see everybody's reaction. But I purchased this from Michael Bauer, who played Donkey Lips. This is his copy of the pilot.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
And so, you can see Propaganda Films. He signed it for me. Let's see if it'll focus.
Oh my God.
nice.
Awful
Awful waffle.
that is
so
cool.
neat.
So I made a digital transfer and sent him a copy. I think he got it. He never replied, but I think he got it. So yeah, it was really cool to own this piece of Salute Your Shorts history, and the fact that it was Michael Bauer's too is really cool.
Yeah.
And then this is also a recent acquisition from Michael Bauer's. So for the longest time, this was just a grail item for me. I always wanted one of these, but having heard that everything from production was lost, I had resigned to the fact that I'd never find one. But Michael Bauer reached out about a month or two ago and said that he had one. And so this is a screen used camper shirt from Camp on Awana.
Yes.
Wow, man.
So I had always wanted one. To me, this is like iconic Nickelodeon.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
So I was super excited to grab that. You can see like he cut his tag out. It must have been chafing him in the Griffith Park heat of California. So yeah, it's fun to be the caretaker of these pieces for Michael Bauer.
So cool.
That is
Awesome.
amazing.
See what's next. Oh, I've got. How much time do we have?
You got plenty.
Doing okay on time? Okay.
You're great. You're golden, Chris.
So I've got gold. Oh no, that's Cookie Crisp. What was golden? Golden Crisp was like the frog, right?
No,
Golden
that was
Crisp,
Golden Crisp. Golden Crisp was like a
that was the bear.
bear.
Oh, bear. Oh, that's right.
The frog was Smacks.
Oh, wait.
Smack'em was
That's
Smacks.
right. That's right.
Dig 'em,
Yes.
dig 'em.
Dig 'em. Yeah, that's Dig'ems.
Well, having nothing to do with cereal, we'll segue into scripts. So I've got a couple scripts here from the Mystery Files of Shelby Woo.
Oh,
Oh,
Jordy.
Jordy.
Wow, yeah,
And
that's
are you a
big one
fan?
for
Are you
me.
a fan?
He's
Shelby?
a
Oh,
fan.
yes.
He's a
Big
huge
fan.
That's his show.
Awesome. Well,
Yes.
this is episode, and these are first season scripts. So this one is episode 105, To Catch a Fish,
Oh,
my
wow.
God.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
and then I've got episode 106, Lost in Space.
Oh, the Lost in Space. That's one of the best. I
Wow.
love. Yeah, the episode. That was one of the crazier ones. The plot is
Jeez.
actually insane.
It- and this is one of those cool examples where like production order is not the order it aired in, because I don't think I think To Catch a Fish aired after Lost in Space, but it was made before
Mhm.
Lost in Space, which is always interesting. But I love looking through the scripts, and I think this one belonged to a producer, because there's no markings in it or anything, and it's a white copy, which means it was a table read. I don't know if Alex, you probably know this. In production, you know, every time there's a revision, they change the color of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But on Nick shows, I don't think that generally accepted practice was followed too often. I don't think the budget was even there. So who
Not in
knows?
those days.
Yeah. Who knows if this was on set or not? But it's always fun to read through the
God, that's
read
my
through
jam. Looking at scripts and seeing how they've changed from page to screen. Oh,
Yep.
I
Mhm.
love it.
Mhm.
especially if there's notes written on it too.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
bylines.
Yeah.
Yes, sideline.
Yeah, I've got a in the display cabinet over here. I've got a script for my brother and me, and you can see
Oh my God.
the actress who played who was the sister's friend. What was her name?
Dion.
Yeah.
Dion, yeah.
You can see they hadn't casted her yet because her name isn't on the front page yet. But it was like just a couple weeks before production. It's dated, so it's interesting. You to just feel like you're a part of production with the script in your hand.
Yeah. It's like this
So-
person's not coming in, but they're coming in soon, and if their name's going to go right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally understand what you mean.
Yep.
Totally.
So I've got so I know the 45th anniversary of
45th.
Nickelodeon is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so of course when you think Nickelodeon, you think Nickelodeon Studios. So I grabbed a one sheet in the, at least in the music business, we call them a one sheet. I don't know in the movie or TV business, I assume it is. But these would have been sent out to newspapers, to press, to help advertise. This is a pre-social media world, right? No YouTube, and you're not going to have a commercial saying Nickelodeon Studios is coming on other networks. So they would put out these one sheets to newspapers to try to get people to run the stories and drum up the business. So here's one for Nickelodeon Studios. And you can see it's dated May 15th, 1989. So
Oh
you
my
can see the building in
gosh.
progress.
Wow.
And the paint's not on yet, the logo's not on yet, but still, you know, fun to see the iteration of it.
Yes.
And
So
it's just
cool.
it's fun to think that some intern in New York at MTV Networks packaged this up in an envelope and sent it. I think I got this from a newspaper in Memphis, sent it out to Memphis to run in the paper, right? And it was because of this photo that kids in the South knew that Nickelodeon Studios was coming. I think that's really cool.
So fun.
89 too. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Print media from 89.
So here's another one sheet from my favorite Nickelodeon show of all time, Are You Afraid of the Dark? And this is the episode. This is special to me because it was the first episode that I ever saw of Are You Afraid of the Dark? I missed the pilot in '91, and so my first introduction to Are You Afraid of the Dark was the Tale of the Phantom Cab. And so here's the one sheet advertising that.
Oh my God.
Oh wow.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Yeah, and the little
Absolutely.
cat logo, I think, is
Yes.
Yeah.
probably
The
one of my favorite
Halloween
parts about this.
logo. Yes.
Aaron
And they-
Tager, yeah.
Because they did use that cat logo on a few of the really early premiere promotions for it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and then this one is dated August 17th, '92, So this was, I imagine this would have been in the Sunday paper, right? Because I think what was that? No, that was August 15th. So maybe the Monday morning papers would have recapped what was on TV that weekend and reviewed the show. And this is the picture they would have put next to it for the show review.
Very neat.
So, Are You Afraid of the Dark stuff is so hard to find.
Oh, impossible.
I've tracked down prop masters and people in the art department, and like stuff just doesn't exist from Are You Afraid of the Dark. So to have something like this, when you find something, even though it's not big or anything, it's fun to have that connection to Are You Afraid of the Dark history.
Yeah.
And especially being the first episode that I saw.
Especially if it's sentimental to you.
Yeah, for sure. So that leads me to my last piece here. And this is something that I looked for a long time. I remember probably 8 years ago or so, I was looking at an old Don Post again, right? Researching masks, trying to find the Zeke the Plumber mask. And I saw this mask in the 1991 Don Post catalog. And it's the only catalog that this mask was in. And I was like, that looks wait a minute. I know exactly what that is. And
tell me it's not. Oh my god.
My gosh. That's
Zebo
incredible.
Oh wow.
I don't know if I could have that in my house. That would be
That's amazing and terrifying. Holy sh- Just the eye holes above the actual eyes.
Yeah.
So if
Me.
if you look at the a still from the production, you'll see that they latexed over those and painted them. And then
Oh my god.
yeah, so he's a really fun mask to have. A rare mask. There's less of these. If you're into mask collecting, we're talking a lot about mask collecting today. If you're into mask collecting, you know that the Captain Kirk, the 75 Kirk, is like rare, and everybody wants it because of its affiliation to Michael Myers. But to my knowledge, there's far less of these out there than 75 Kirks. And this one's just in beautiful shape. The latex.
Oh my
is
god, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It
The
looks
latex
brand
is
new.
still it feels brand new, and which is so odd for this era of Don Post masks. The latex just crumbles and
the
just,
quality on the hair too. It's just all there. The sun never touched it. Wow.
Yep. So there you go.
Oh jeez.
You can sort of see, now that you're looking for it, you can kind of see the little rough.
Yeah, you can see right there.
Patches right above the eyes.
The right eye, especially, you can see the indentation.
Yep. But it just goes to show you the limited budgets they were working on, especially in that first season, and that they had to like buy an off-the-shelf mask and just modify it just enough to make it work.
So that was going to make me ask, the nose, does it come with the nose on it, or did you have to get the nose?
No, it comes with the nose.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes with the nose, and the colors are all the same. I didn't modify this at all, and so you can see like production was just like, pull that mask, just grab that mask, do what you have to do to make it not look like a mask, and let's roll. We got to roll this. We got to hit our budget, right? So, and this one still has the hang tag, which is really cool.
So cool.
And he sits on a stand on top of one of my display cases and kind of looks down on me to my workbench. So. Keeps me in line.
Terrifying.
Yeah. How do you do it?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is when I think like my own personal Nickelodeon collection, this is one of my prized possessions, and I've toyed with the idea of modifying it to be a bit more accurate to the screen used one, but I just can't do that to such a rare, beautiful mask.
Nah.
Right. So there is that same company that made the Zeke the Plumber mask is coming out with a Zebo Mask as well. And I'm not certain, but I think they may have cast that off of this one because I bought it from a mutual friend, and so yeah, I'll be picking up one of those so I don't have to modify this one at all.
Yeah. God, so cool, man.
I love it.
So there you go. Those are all the toys I brought out to play with today.
So
That's
awesome.
amazing.
That's
Wow.
truly incredible. I mean, just secrets are unlocked through that mask of Zebo. I mean, it just reveals. I mean, you all know that Nickelodeon is like bootstraps, and a lot of the time they're working with minimal budget. But stuff like that just shows, like you said, like what they're working with, the speed at which the production had to work, and wow, it's just so cool. I mean, especially that with the Zebo mask. I mean, that's
Yeah.
truly is a holy grail item in a collection for
Yeah.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah, a lot of those MacGuffins from Are You Afraid of the Dark were just off the shelf items.
Yeah.
And there's another collector named Zach. You guys know him, and he
Yes,
is finding
Zach,
all the
yes.
screen accurate, like the droplet bottle from what the potion bottle from What's the Tale of the Dark Dragon, I think, and
Yes.
stuff like that. It was just off the
Yeah.
shelf items.
Yeah.
They didn't have the budget to make it. They didn't have the time to make it. So it was just like, let's
Yeah.
grab something that looks spooky and roll with it.
Now behind you, I see, is that the gargoyle from the Dangerous Soup in your case?
Yes. Yeah. I've got that.
Oh, it is. Oh,
Um,
yeah.
And that's another example of just an off the shelf item. It was, it's a garden gnome effectively. And this one is, I posted it on Facebook one day, and DJ McHale commented. He was like, well, where'd you get that? That looks like it came from the set. And so he said it must have been from the same mold. It's identical to the one used on the show, but this one is resin cast, whereas his was concrete.
Oh,
And so I don't know if maybe that was like the master mold. When you make something like that, you normally have a resin cast master mold, or plaster sometimes. But
curiously speaking, Carl, do you sometimes feel the fear when you look at that thing?
Feel-
Oh,
bam, 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 bam.
That episode is just freaky, man.
And that episode gets a lot of hate, but it's one of my favorite. I always love that episode.
Dangerous Soup?
Dangerous
Yeah.
Soup. Yeah.
It made
Yeah,
my
we
top
love it.
3. We recently,
yeah,
we had
that's right. Yeah.
a live
That one,
stream.
and then
Yeah.
another one that gets a lot of hate is the Hungry Hounds, and that's one of my
Hungry
favorites
Hounds.
too. And I think the story sucks, but the mood and the atmosphere is awesome in that one. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
My favorite is Virtual Pets.
Virtual pets. Gotta love virtual pets.
Apartment 402.
402.1.
Yeah.
Blend some episode crossover episodes.
Yeah.
Is there anything, a grail item that you haven't gotten yet that you've been on the hunt for?
Yeah, I would love one of the original Snick couches, big orange couches.
Mhm.
And I know where one is at, and I just haven't reached out or made an offer. Mostly because I don't have the space for it. I don't know where I'd put it.
Space,
And-
the ever facing
Yeah.
issue for collection.
Yeah. Yeah, the
What kind
walls
of-
are slowly closing in on me in this room.
Exactly.
What kind of couch is it? I was never able to, I tried looking it up.
It's a old like Victorian era couch that was completely redone. They totally reupholstered it. So
Yeah.
if you find one that's like it, it won't look anything like
Mhm.
what it ended up being.
You're basically just looking for the frame and then
Frame.
repainting the edges black and then reupholstering to orange, right? What was
Yeah.
it? You do the material. Was it more like it was like a vinyl, you were saying?
Well, the originals were a fabric that I know of, and then there was iterations. So there was
Okay.
Right.
of the original run, there was at least 2, I think maybe 3. They're slightly different. The feet are slightly different.
Mhm.
And one of them, the feet are a little ornate, another little plainer. But then there was another iteration, I think, when Snick went to like the you guys will know what I'm talking about, the ska music
Mhm.
and the paneled room, like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
era.
Yeah.
Let's
Are there-
Snick transform your Saturday night.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. There, I think that one was a little more like plain Victorian, like you,
Oh,
you
yeah.
saw the Victorian era in it.
Mhm.
And then they went to like the Snick House era, and that was like the vinyl. So that was the iteration that I sent you that sample, Alex.
Mhm.
So that was the more vinyl type.
Okay. And which one are you looking for? Just any of them or the one that you have your eye on?
I mean,
of-
I'd love the original one. I when it comes to collecting, I'm all about the connection to my childhood. And so I don't really collect the toys because I never had the toys. I don't collect the magazines because I like, as much as I would have loved to be a subscriber to Nickelodeon magazine, it just wasn't in the budget for our household growing up. So like, I don't have an emotional connection to that, but the couch, the original couch, I remember watching every Saturday night. And so I'd love one of those. I'd love to continue watching on one of those.
There you go.
Ah, so cool. Carl, every single time you're on, I love everything that you have to share. You've got you have such a unique collection. Not to dismiss any of the others, but I love how just in depth and meticulous you are with finding those connections to what made the show, and not just a, hey, we found this cool thing that was really rare that they sold in stores. No, this is stuff that was they used to promote the network and all. It's so cool.
Yeah, your hunt for it is like detective levels hunting.
Yes.
Well, and that's for a collector.
It's Shelby
that's
Woo
half,
level.
Yes.
For a collector, that's half the fun, is the hunt, the finding. Once you get it, you're like, oh, this is nice. I'm gonna put it in the display cabinet and pull it out every once in a while. But you know, it's the thrill of the hunt. It's that dopamine and serotonin hit when you finally found it.
Exactly.
You guys think I'm good at finding people. The people that he finds to get these things, the connections he makes is incredible.
I joined LinkedIn Premium once just so I could send a message to a prop master that was on a show.
Wow.
And he never wrote me back. So, but I was talking to my wife Christine about this a couple days ago, and it occurred to me that I loved, like, as much as I loved the TV shows that were on Nick and the characters and all of that, I fell in love with the concept of Nickelodeon Studios, that all of these shows were like filmed at the same place. And I loved, peeking behind the curtain, so to speak, and learning about the production aspect of things, and getting into the music business a little later on as an adult. You know, I got to work behind the scenes and see that side of production that you don't normally see. And a lot of that, I think, was I pursued that because of this idea of like Nickelodeon Studios. This is where things are made, and what's that like? What's that like to be on set? And so that a lot of that fuels like my hunt for production items and props.
So fun.
Well, it definitely shows in the collection. I mean, it's
absolutely.
Like...
I mean, just the scripts alone. That's amazing right there.
Well, if anybody wants to follow you, because you share your stuff every so often, some of the things that you've recently acquired. If anyone wants to follow you, where can they follow you at?
Yeah, so you can follow me at 90s Nicktube, 90s Nicktube on Instagram. Yeah, like Alex said, I post as frequently as I have time to, here and there, and when I get some new items here and there, I'll post. And so I hope to be following in your all's footsteps somewhat soon, and launch sort of our own podcast. My wife and I want to do a just like a rewatching and remembering and commentating on what it was like, watching these shows growing up. And so, hopefully we'll have some time soon to sit down and start doing that.
Well, you ever do, let us know. We'll be happy to support you.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thanks so much for having me, guys. This is always
Thank
a
you.
blast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was
for
truly
sharing.
incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
All right, everybody, go check out Carl and check out the amazing stuff that he has to share. Thank you again so much for being here. It's always a blast having you every time. With that being said, all of you slimesters out there, we'll see you at the next Collector's Corner. Splat you later.
Hi, guys.
Ask about a Shelby Woo prop, but I mean, Shelby Woo props are mainly just regular items that.
The scripts are cool, though. That is very
the scripts.
cool.
Yeah, that's really the only thing you can collect from it is the scripts. And then I made a trip out to just a little bit of nerding out before we leave. I went to Cocoa Beach last year,
made my way out there. So like of the few things you can kind of gain of Shelby, I got the some shots in front of the police department, Cocoa Beach Police Department.
Nice.
Then I went
Nice.
down to the pier and then gathered some shots as close to angle and perspective as possible from the surfer mystery. It was the Wipeout mystery. It's either the Surf Rider mystery or the Wipeout.